All right, should we start? Okay, guys, if you were here last week, you know that we are talking about our why, which is that deep drive, that deep purpose of what it is that we're doing. And so today we're going to explore into an even deeper question, which is, are you becoming the person that can live with that why? And just keep in mind that success isn't something that we chase, it's something that we become aligned with. And so to be in action with our purpose is really about alignment. Are we aligned with our thoughts? Are we aligned with our emotions? Are we aligned with our actions? And luckily, there's some exercises and skills that we can work on to practice, and it's essentially like a steering wheel. We can mold ourselves to be in more alignment with our direction. And so we're going to be talking about that today. We're going to be talking about identity and how to shift identity, because if you're thinking about yourself and you're imagining, and Carol, if you want to break in, just break in whenever you would like. And if you guys have a question, I got the chat up as well. I just, cool, Asher. I have the chat up, but a little hand raise would also work in the Zoom bar if you guys go to React. Um, but if you guys think about yourself and you recognize certain things, it's essentially a focus, right? So if you think about yourself as being inconsistent, you are most definitely going to act inconsistently, right? If you see yourself as a leader and that's comfortable, then you're going to show up as a leader even before there's recognition of you being a leader. And you guys can see this in other people when you're going through life. You see other people, maybe they're in roles or they have jobs and there's not a match, right? Like maybe they're in a leadership role and they're like not consistent, right? Or they don't speak the part, or maybe they're in some other, lower role, but you can see that this person is a complete leader. And so we're going to just talk about, we're going to ask ourselves some questions so that we're empowered, so that we can really embody that future identity now. And so right now, just do some self reflection on what are the ways that you identify? Like what are the stories that you tell yourself about yourself? I'll just give you some examples. And really, we're looking to, if you've got some really, if your strengths are coming up in your head, that's great. But let's try and look into the crevices that maybe we ignore. Maybe we do identify as, a procrastinator, or somebody who self sabotages themselves, or doesn't take action, or is scared and fearful, or is not ready. So, really, like, look into those deeper crevices of yourself and try and find where you could use some lifting up. Okay, so there's a couple tools that we're going to do before we do, like, and if you guys have a pen and paper, that would work out as well, because we are going to do some journaling. And guys, especially in this business that we're in, being clear with your identity, being clear with your direction is everything. It's everything in a lot of creative ventures, especially anything having to do with entrepreneurship. Think about entrepreneurship. You are creating your success, and even you're creating your struggle. And so having an idea of how it's going to look is extremely important. It's the direction that you're going is going to be filtered by how it is that you feel that it's going to go. And so there's this you guys can look it up. Snyder, I wrote it down. I don't know if it's mirrored or what, but Snyder 1994, there's this hope theory. So hope is one of those things that we can sort of like control. A lot of us don't know that, but hope is something that we have control over. And when we don't have hope, when we have hopelessness, we have essentially apathy and we sort of just give up. And then we're that cartoon character with the rainy cloud over their head everywhere we go, including trying to start a business, trying to start a relationship, trying to start anything new in our life. We got this rainy cloud. And so in this Snyder 1994, there's two important things having to do with hope. One is agency thinking, and the other one is pathways thinking. I know that's really slappy, but I just wanted to give you guys some sort of visual. Agency thinking and pathways thinking. Agency thinking is essentially you are an agent, you are capable. And so people that have this agency set of mindset, they're the ones that can see themselves doing it. And then pathways thinking is essentially you can think about multiple pathways to the goal. And those, if you know how to master those two things, then you increase hope for your life, your reality, whatever goal it is. That you're capable and that there's multiple ways to the destination. Because think about that. If you don't feel capable, obviously there's no hope. So I don't even need to really explain that. But if you only see one way, it's going to be harder to have confidence in that. But if you see many ways, essentially, the more ways that you see to the destination, the more hope there is. And so we're going to just increase that a little bit today. And remind yourself also that if you're thinking about the habits, if you're thinking about yourself, like every day is a new day. Right now is the platform that we're launching from. And so if your habits and your mindset and your identity is tied to your past, then your results will be too. And so if you're not looking to build on the darker components of your past, then let them go. They do not need to define you. And think about the goal as like where the habits are originating from. And then the option is to be able to pull those habits closer to you now. So it's push away what hasn't been working, distance yourself from that, make them smaller, make them dimmer, make them less potent. Even though they're there, they exist, but detach. And then you have this new identity with new habits, brighten them, expand them, grow them, and bring them closer to you. Obviously, just doing them would be the easiest thing, but I'm using other words to explain that, right? Like grow them, pull them closer to you. And so last week we talked about why. This week we're talking about like even what we were just talking about at the beginning of this call. Inviting your customers to learn more about the program that they've enrolled in so that they're comfortable. How do you identify with that? And as you were listening to it earlier, there's probably maybe one way you identify with it. But now, when you're thinking about, okay, my quote, future self, my expanded, my confident, my hopeful self, how would you be? And so if we can get into that position and think about, okay, we've got a call on Monday. what does my future self, what are the habits of that? How am I orienting myself around that? And so just write down some notes about that. Your hopeful, more confident, more successful self in this. Orient yourself to this. Like within Purium, while we're here in this business, how are we orienting towards this Zoom on Monday? That's 6 days from now. What are some actions that are going to be taken? It's going to give us 30 seconds just to drop into that. Yes, please.
Back office and I'm going to look for all the customers that I ever had, whether they have 25% discount or 15% discount. And I'm going to send a text message to all of the customers that have a 25% discount. That means that they ordered last month. And I'm going to invite them to the call. And then all the customers that have the 15% discount, which means that they have an order in 30 days, in within 30 days, I'm going to send them another message and I'm going to re-invite them to join the call because I mean the summer's close, right? People want to get ready for the summer. They want to feel good in their skin. So I'm going to re-invite them to do another transformation because the summer's right around the corner, and I know how important it is for them to feel good, right? And then so I'm going to do that because I know that that's what a cron will do. Like a cron would know what they are dealing with in their business, and a cron wants customer retention, right? So that's what I'm going to be behaving like a crown because remember, lead from the future and act from the now. If you want to be a crown, you have to act like a crown because we attract who we are. We're always attracting who we are. So if you want to be a top leader, act like you are that top leader. Even if you don't have a team yet, you can still embrace that identity because identity drives action.
Okay, so this is the next thing. Just think about this. Can you guys see that? Earn, fill in the blank, a month. This is like real, right? Think about figuring out if a business is worth it, figuring out if an investment is worth it. This is what the return on investment is for what we're doing. If this isn't clear, if we don't have a clear vision of this, then it doesn't support the mission, right? This is what fuels the mission. This is sort of the gasoline for the engine of our activity, the engine of what we're doing. And so answer this for yourself. Not what it is now, but what is this? What are we stepping into? And then write down some examples. Confident at speaking on stages. Comfortable within a large group of people, speaking to everybody, introducing themselves. What are the assets of you at this level? And once again, I invite you guys to have a piece of paper out and journal this. When you're writing something down, you're thinking about it, you're putting it into action through your hand and paper to pen or pen to paper, then you're seeing it as well. And then if you speak it out loud, that's like 4, right? So after the dollars per month, after you wrote down some behaviors, here are some just like specific ones. So first one is morning. What are you doing in the morning? How do you start your days? And usually it's whatever comes off the top of your dome is like that's the connection. It's before you start questioning whether that's possible or not. Now, if social media is your thing, there's a lot of work, there's a lot of boundaries to be pushed within social media, but how do you show up on social media? Once again, before you start trying to think your way out of it. This next one is like, what are they certain about? Like, what are the top priorities? You got it's the non-negotiables within life, within business. What are the decisions that you make without hesitation? And this isn't a wish, okay? Think about this as a gnosis. You know that this person decides these things matter of factly. And you guys know it. Like it's the answers are within you. You guys can start to see that there's an equation to how this works. And then the last sort of invitation to focus on is speaking. How do they speak to themselves, which is most importantly? And then how do they speak to others? And for those of you who aren't who maybe skipped over the social media thing, then like we can just add in-person events. How are they at in-person events? And so, as I was saying earlier, brighten this, make it bigger, make it clearer. Like, see what you're writing down on paper is getting bigger. Like, have some sort of image and just make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, or brighter and brighter, or more clear. See more details of it. Get into it. Let it overtake you, let it overtake your mind. And let it start to percolate into all the different aspects of your body, of your aura, of your mind, so that you can start aligning the frequency of all of your cells to what we are describing. And we're going from now imagining to embodying. Any questions on that? So from here, Write down, so where you're at right now, what you're embodying. Write down 5 I am statements. This description, I am fill in the blank. I'll give about 2 minutes for this. If you're having trouble getting 5, just reach deeper. Reach deeper. And that's where the work is. Just discover. Maybe you've already got 5 really easier. Continue to reach deeper. What else is there? Okay. You can continue working on that. I'm just going to move on. So now is an important part. Actually, you guys can continue to keep yourself muted, but just read some of these out loud. Actually, read them all out loud, all 5 of them. And just feel how it feels. Okay, now, right now, make a commitment. What is this person doing that you're not doing right now? Whether it's on social media, whether it's in person, whether it's over the phone, whether it's sending a message to somebody. What are 3 things? Yeah, you love saying it out loud too. Alexis is saying it made me cry. That's good to hear. So, what are 3 commitments as this person, not as like on your way to it? I'm just going to share a story, you guys. You know, on social media, where there's like that celebrity or that person that has obviously done the work for 10 years or more, and they're just posting a picture of themselves, or they're saying something, and there's that voice in the back of your head that may or may not be there that's like, well, if I was that successful, of course I would assume that I would be making content like this as well. That's what I'm talking about. Like, what are the things that you're not doing because you're not that person? That all of those I am statements, what would that person be doing? 3 small things, 3 commitments. Or maybe the old you would have waited. And this is what I mean, the habits of the future you, the target you, you're pulling them in. And it's really you're being pulled towards, you're changing your resonant frequency. And so now you're attracted to a different reality, and you're being pulled into this other reality, your intention. That's what intention means, guys. Out of infinite realities, you are in tension with one of them. And that tension is going to drive, it's going to magnetically pull you there. And the magnetism, the attraction increases with your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. The more in alignment you are, that gap closes. And then one day you're going to remember that you made this list. And you're going to be like, what? This is crazy. You're going to say these sentences about, wow, I remember when I actually wrote this down and here I am. And sometimes it looks exactly as you imagine, and sometimes it's like wildly different, but somehow more perfect to what you were intending.
When we share our commitments, they become more real when we share them.
Yeah, I was thinking about small group, but I guess let's just yeah, let me get through one more thing and then we can share the commitments. And I think that you guys, yeah. So the exercise or the assignment is to share the commitments to the mirror. And so think about the next 7 days. How beautiful life would be if you woke up in the morning and looked in the mirror and said these 5 I am statements. And so we're either going to break into groups or we're going to share them all on this Zoom right now. I'm not sure. But just the exercise I'm going to ask you guys to do and to commit to is 7 days of looking at yourself in a mirror and saying the I am statements. And then work on one of those commitments that we made each day. We wrote down some of them, but take at least one action towards those commitments. That's the second thing. So we've got the start of the day, look in the mirror. We've got during the day, which is take one of those action steps. And then we have end of the day, journal. You guys can just put a piece of paper next to your bed right now, or when we're done with this, and then just journal. How did I show up as this person, the future version of you? Where, when, how did I show up like them today? And so it's a 7-day exercise. 5 statements in the morning to the mirror. Work on one of the commitments during the day. And because you do that, you have something to write down at the end of the day. How, where did I show up like the envisioned version of myself today? Does that sound good? Okay, so yes, let's, Carol, I guess we can start with you.